What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back, man. Hope you guys had a good weekend. I know I did. My Chargers, we won yet again. But today's video, we gotta stay on topic because it's kind of gonna be a long one. Maybe not. Maybe I'll do a good job with this edit. Hey, future Josh, make sure you do a good job on the edit. But we gotta talk about Battlefield 2042, and we gotta talk about the goods and we gotta talk about the bads of the game, man. And I know it was just a beta, but I'm gonna give my honest opinion about the game. If you guys are new here and you end up enjoying this video, man, be sure to hit the like button and share the video with a friend. Maybe they want to know something a little bit about Battlefield. Also, subscribe to the channel because that'll be super helpful, man. It does a lot for me. You guys have no idea, and it's free. Also, turn that notification bell on so you always be notified whenever I post another video. And without further ado, let's get into the topic of the video. So let's just say this. My overall review of the game, man, was that I think that it was a good game. I definitely enjoyed the first 2 to 3 days, not nonstop, but 2 to 3 days of playing Battlefield and just taking it all in and seeing what the game was about. I liked a lot about the game, but there was also some things I did not like. Again, I also understand that it's a beta, but I'm just putting this out there for everybody so that you know the pros and cons to the game. So let's start off on the pro side. I'll try and have that pull up right here, but let's talk about all the pros of the game. So first and foremost, man, I think that they did a great job with the graphics. I know some people probably feel like it wasn't all that big of a difference from a lot of the games that we have now, but I noticed, man, that the game had really good graphics. I enjoyed all of that, and you guys are able to see that with some of the clips that I have going on in the background. I also really enjoy how much the environment can change because of, you know, grenades or tanks blowing up certain things. When it starts to rain and it actually affects, like, not so much of the terrain to where you're slipping around and everything like that. That would be kind of extra, but you see the change and you actually see it happen. It's not just like a dramatic change. Oh, here comes a storm, you know what I'm saying? And especially when the tornado comes, I really enjoy how it's moving around the map. I didn't know how they were gonna do it. I wasn't sure if it was just gonna sit in one spot, but that wouldn't be very realistic, so I'm glad that they didn't do that. Rocket taking off and actually seeing the smoke and everything in the area, and it kind of actually messes up your vision. I enjoy that. I love seeing the destruction of buildings, so it's not just like, oh, hey, I hit this door or this wall with a grenade and nothing happened to it. No, it's actually gonna start to slowly but surely crumble and you know, maybe even come crumbling down. So I really enjoy a lot of the things that they did with the environment. Also, another little small thing that they did was, like, when a helicopter or let's say a tank did shoot in a certain area by trees, you would actually see the trees moving around. I know these are small details that not everybody cares about, but those are some of the things that I took notice to, and I could really appreciate the fact that DICE took the time out their day. And I know Battlefield has always kind of been like that, but they took the time out their day to make that happen, and it's more realistic. Again, you can blow the trees up, so it's less cover. It's a lot of things that you could really make happen in this game that I really appreciated. Now, aside from the graphics and all the great things that come along with that, man, we got to talk about the guns. And so far, I had not seen a gun in the game, the ones that they had allowed us to use, that were bad. They all obviously every gun has its downside, you know what I mean? Like, that's just the way of the game, and that's fine, perfectly fine. I don't care about that. But what I'm saying is, I didn't see, like, oh, I'm getting hit markers or anything like that, or oh, he's one shot and my gun scraped him and he's not going down. No, it was pretty consistent with the guns and the damage. Even like once you started to get a little farther away, yeah, it was gonna take a little more concentration because you had the bullet drop off and everything like that, but it still felt really good to use just about every gun. And I did mess around with all of them. I even tried the sniper for a little bit, which wasn't for me because Battlefield is just a whole different game, man. You have to actually really be good at sniping to make some things happen in that game with that, but I enjoyed that. Moving on to the operators, I did not see any real issues with any of them. It was kind of cool to just get a feel for the ones that they had let us use. The one that I would say felt like they weren't necessarily fully needed was the dude that's a scout. I don't know his name, but that was somebody that I thought I was really gonna enjoy, and maybe I will later on in the video when we talk about that part. But I just didn't feel like there was a real need for him in the big gigantic battlefield area, and me sitting in my drone and flying around to scan people and all that. Like I didn't feel like he was meant for that battle mode, you know what I mean? And it was literally only that one game mode, which was what, Conquest, if I'm not mistaken. So you literally had him in that big area, and I don't know. Maybe it was really good if you were sniping and you were trying to watch your back and everything, and the drone was alerting you that somebody was coming up, but I didn't play like that. I just ran around and wanted to shoot people. Operators were fine. I love the fact that no operator is classified in a specific weapon loadout. You could use anything for any operator. You could be a medic with an assault. You could be a medic with a sniper. You can switch it up, which is a huge bonus in this game. If you guys didn't know that, you can use anything. Any operator can be an assault, a support, or anything that they want to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not just bound to one gun and that's it. So I love that about the game. Anybody can carry around the med kit, the ammo supply. You can have grenades, you can have armor plates. You know, it's so many different things that you can put with all the operators that I enjoy. Now, one thing the operators do have individually is they have one operator that has the grappling hook, they have the one with the scout, the drone, they have another one with the sentry turret, and then they had the medic. So those were the only ones that we got to see. So I'm not sure what the other ones are gonna, you know, be able to do, but I am excited to see what they can do when the time comes. And also all the guns once we get that. I didn't say that in the last segment, but let me just say that now. I guess this will be considered as a positive as well. Is I definitely enjoyed the movement of the game. It felt fluid. It didn't seem like robotic and stiff or anything like that. It felt really good to get on there. There are some things that were bad, but we'll talk about all those things in the cons. But the movement in the game felt really good. It didn't seem like it was too hard to get a handle on switching in and out of your attachments to your weapons, which is another thing that's new in this game, is the fact that you can switch any type of attachments you want on your guns on the fly. Like, you don't have to wait until you die. You don't have to buy a loadout or anything. You just, hey, I don't want my AR to have this 3x scope on it. Okay, don't take it off. So that's real dope. I enjoy that. My one question is, are there going to be more attachments that we can unlock later on for the guns to then be able to rotate those in? I'm not sure. They didn't say anything about that, but that is something that I'm curious about. But other than that, like I said, the fact that you can switch your attachments up on the fly, one of the best things in the game, man. I think that's dope as hell, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it's gonna work in everything else in the game. Finally, we got to talk about the cons, man. And yes, y'all, there are cons. You don't have to hear it. You can turn the video off at this point, but I wanted to put it towards the end. The cons, man, are a few things. So one of the things that I want to talk about is that, again, I am understanding that this was just the beta and they're going to fix some of these things, but I'm sure that some of these are going to stay in the game. I wasn't a huge fan of how the parachutes were deploying. It took a little while, and I definitely know that it was probably trying to go more on the realistic side, but it definitely takes a while. So if you guys are planning on just like doing some things that you do in Call of Duty, which is kind of like pulling the parachute out late, that's not going to happen in here because you're going to kill yourself. You have to pull that thing out pretty early if you want to still be able to survive. But the problem is now you're an easy target. And it's, again, you could just be like, oh, well, once you get somewhat close enough to the ground, you could just release it and fall down and be good. I don't know the exact height because I was trying to figure it out, but they don't give you that much of a height drop off that you can come down from without killing yourself. So I think that was a downside to the game, was just the parachute thing. I think another downside to the beta specifically was the fact that we could only play Conquest, which doesn't sound that bad, but we could only play Conquest on one particular map. for days, and there was no chains, there was no nothing, you know what I'm saying? It was literally just one thing, and I feel like that hurt the potential growth of Battlefield, because if you would have at least gave people, let's say, maybe not 3, because that would probably ruin the excitement of the game, but if you would have gave them 2 maps that they were rotating throughout the 3 or 4 days that the game was available, I think that would have been good. You know what I mean? Like, for 4 days you're rotating through 2 maps, so that gives people time to learn it. It gives people a different idea and a better idea of the different maps and how everything is going to be affected. I think that would have been a good idea, but they dropped the ball on that one, and they only gave us 1 map to play for 4 days. And some people play for hours, you know what I mean? And they literally just played on the same map, did the same thing over and over and over and over. That is a negative. Another thing that I would consider a negative is just the vehicle controls. Like, it felt kind of wonky. Like, every car in the game felt like it just had the meanest drifting ability, like we was a part of Tokyo Drift or something, you know what I mean? Like, it did not feel really great. I guess it kind of was weird to get used to the mechanics of that. Like, I don't know, I didn't like the way the cars operated. Helicopters and everything, I never got to fly them, but I was sitting inside of them and seeing how other people flew them. I felt like that was kind of normal, but there was just an odd amount of helicopters and jets and everything like that. Again, I know it's Battlefield, just I'm more so talking about the negatives with the cars, not the planes and everything. I just threw that out there. Another one of the issues that I was noticing with the game, and maybe they'll fix this after, you know, they've gotten all the numbers back in from the beta, but I had switched some of my keybinds and tried to change some things to work where I could use my mouse instead of having to go and push 5 or 6 or something like that, and it didn't work. And then it just would not switch back for me. It wouldn't let me reset. For whatever reason, I could not change it, and then I was forever stuck like that. And my character, every time I would come back with my operator, I was stuck doing one of those things, which is either putting on plates or using my grappling hook or whatever operator that I was using at the time, you know what I mean? So that was a downside. Again, they could fix it, but it was something that I noticed. And the last thing, and again, y'all, this is kind of nitpicking, but it was still somewhat of an issue because most of their players are going to be on here. When I was on controller, I felt like the game wasn't as fluid. It felt, that's where it started to feel stiff, and the response was kind of like a little too delayed in my opinion, and it just did not feel good to play on controller compared to mouse and key. And again, for some people, they're gonna have that on controller, so maybe they're not gonna notice, but since I am able to go back and forth, I felt and noticed a big difference when it came to controller versus mouse and key. They both had their issues, you know what I mean, but there were more noticeable issues on controller, like just less responsive. It was not a good experience on controller altogether. But again, the negative side is not all that bad because those are for the most part, they're quick fix things. I didn't notice anything super crazy in the game where I was like, oh no, this is gonna kill the game forever if they don't change this. It was nothing that serious. Like I said, the biggest downside was the fact that they did not go ahead and give us one more map or anything like that. Since we could only play on Conquest, that was just the biggest downside to the game, and I feel like that possibly hurt Battlefield's growth the most out of everything. But other than that, the game was great. It had a lot of good things to look forward to, and I'm really excited to see what this Hazard Zone is going to talk about, man. And we're supposed to be able to see where they're gonna drop the trailer for that, I think mid to late or the end of October, somewhere it's happening this month. You guys be sure to stick around on my channel. I am gonna have a reaction for that. Like I said, again, turn the notification bell on so you always be notified and you'll be able to see me react to that. But I'm really hoping that that's gonna be a good game mode, man. They're talking about it might be like Escape from Tarkov, is that how you pronounce it? Sorry, I really don't know. I'm excited to see what that game mode is talking about, man. It might be a little different, And I don't know. I don't want to put out too many speculations, but I'm thinking it's going to be more like you go in quads in an open battlefield area, and it's going to be close to a battle royale, but not completely. Like I said, maybe it's going to be mixture of a battle royale and an escape from Tarkov. I don't know. Maybe Battlefield's trying something completely new, and if they are, I just hope that they really execute it well, because then with that game mode, if it's something like that, then I feel like the scout operator will really flourish, because now you're kind of making sure, all right, nobody's coming up behind us like, hey, I see them 160 meters out there waiting on us. They have a sniper up here. You know what I mean? Like, that's where he'll really get to shine. But we have to wait and see. I'm excited to see it. That mode right there will probably make or break Battlefield, really. Like, Battlefield is still gonna do really well for itself, but I think that particular mode will be the difference between, hey, we have 5 million players compared to, oh, we have 1 million or 600 to 700,000 people on the game. You know what I mean? So again, I don't know yet, man. We'll see. But that's gonna do it for the video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I hope this was also helpful and gave you guys an idea for the ones that did not buy Battlefield, or that were confused, or that were considering getting it but they wanted to see just a little bit more. I hope this helped you out some. And yeah, like I said, man, stay tuned and stick around on the channel, because I am gonna have more Battlefield reaction. I'm gonna have more Battlefield gameplay. I still enjoy the game, and for me personally, I am still excited to get it when the full game comes out in November. So with all that being said, man, I hope that you guys enjoyed once again, and I'm gonna catch you in the next one.
Every moment she independent with a mind that I never noticed. It got me running out my mind like I never noticed. They tryna knock me off my pivot, dog, I need a focus. Got the burner on my side, cause I'm too devoted. They steady tryna come and slide, I just know it's loaded. Got these demons on my side, how I never noticed. But when you out here doing bad, that's when they the closest. Got me out here on my let it loose, let it up, let it up, let it up, bet it up, bet it up, let it up, let it up. Hit a lid, dog, set it up.